Hi everyone, happy holidays. I pray you and your family have a great Christmas this Sunday. Um, my family and I were doing very well. I'm celebrating 21 years of marriage this Friday. So that's nice to look forward to. The children, Jeremiah and Elijah, are well. I wanted to just explain what's been going on. So as of now, Jeremiah is still at Jacobi Medical Center. Yes, that's been difficult this week for me because that means that for Christmas, he's not going to be with us. I will be with him. I say I because David can't see his son if he's with Elijah. Elijah's 5 years old. They do not allow children in the psych facility at the hospital. But we will be taking turns that day seeing Jeremiah. The other factor to consider is that Jeremiah, I can get him some coloring books because he loves to draw. And in fact, he drew a beautiful, beautiful pic that really blessed me just this past week. Give me a second. Let me go get it. I'm going to go get it right now so you guys can see. Okay, here it is. I'll let you guys see it. So, this is the picture my son drew. You can see it. It says Jesus' big eyes here. And this is him. He tried to make himself kneeling before the Lord, and he's put his name here, Jeremiah Gonzalez. And then he put the word Lord as if he's crying out to God. And these are the two rainbows. He loves rainbows. And just some little writing there. It says, after when the lightnings and the rainstorms of rain, I guess that's what he's trying to say, is that the rainbows came out and that he saw Jesus's big eyes pop out. Then he's very specific with dates. He said May 2014. So there you have it. That's my artist. That's my Picasso. And that to me spoke volumes. Because since this week was super difficult and has been super difficult, God had been speaking to me just yesterday and the day before that. And he told me not to judge a book by its cover. There's a certain person, or there's like 2 or 3 people where Jeremiah is, there are also patients. And I was concerned at first. They had, honestly, I'll be honest with you, they had tats everywhere. And tats on their neck, tats on their face, tats on everywhere. So immediately my antennas go up as a mom, and I'm like, Lord, please protect my son. He's the youngest one on that unit. Please protect him. And this person that I was most fearful of, not fearful, but concerned about concerning my son, speaks to my husband who went to see Jeremiah 2 days ago to give him a haircut and a shave. And he tells my husband, I spend a lot of time with your son. I want you to know that I'm making sure nothing happens to him and that he's fine and he's protected and he's well. Not that anyone bullies him, but I'm making sure that nothing happens to him. He spends a lot of his time in the room. And so he said that to my husband, and David came home and told me that. And so I was like, okay, is that a good thing, Lord? This person doesn't look so appealing in my eyes. And the Lord is like, you can't judge a book by its cover. I've placed certain people right where your son is to make sure nothing bad happens to him. And then yesterday I went to see Jeremiah, and there was another person who walked up to me, and something fell. And he explained to me the same thing. And he said, are you Jeremiah's mom? I said, yes. And he told me in Spanish, he says, listen, I'm taking care of him. I don't want you to think anyone's hurting him. He's a good kid. And I'm making sure, not that anybody is bullying him or picking on him here, but I'm making sure that that everybody stays within their boundaries concerning him, because I can tell he's autistic. I see he's autistic, but he's a good kid, and I want you to know I'm here for him. And I shook his hand. I said, God bless you. I'm going to be praying for you, and I thank you. I appreciate that. But when he left, I did have a little bit of a breakdown. Thankfully, Jeremiah didn't notice because I was by the window. But it just hurts that he's there. But I do trust the Lord. I believe in what God has told me about Jeremiah. Yes, it's taking forever to get him into a residential living facility. That's when I wanted to talk to you guys about residential placement versus group homes. I explained in an earlier video that anytime you do something through the OPWDD offices, which is the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities, there's a bureaucracy, there's red tape, you got to go through all of the paperwork, you have to go through waiting period. Any paperwork that goes through Albany, yes, I'm shouting out Albany, anything that goes through Albany takes months. And if you're low income as we are, it's going to take even longer. That's just how the system works. It does suck because children with special needs and families with children with special needs should not have to be put through that. And hopefully in the future, once I start working, I will be starting a new job in February. I'm starting work as a teacher, hopefully within the next 2 years. I will see what can I do to lobby to make sure that there's other laws in place where parents don't have to be put through this, where they have to be waiting 2 and 4 and 6 years, especially for when there's a crisis in families, as if my son is right now, awaiting residential placement right now, as it stands. As I'm speaking to you now, he's still waiting for group homes to approve him for him living there. He's visited about 5 places right now. And out of these 5 places, 2 of these group homes here in the Bronx have said they like Jeremiah and they would like for him to go back for another visit. The first time that Jeremiah went into one of the agencies, I'm not going to say the name, they took about 3 or 4 weeks just for us to get an answer back. His social worker kept asking them, but they took forever, and they take forever to get back. To top it off and to add insult to injury, Jeremiah, I thought he would be priority, being that he's admitted at the hospital, that he would be, they really would put a rush on it. We know now that's not the case. They also interview other special need young adults. So it's not just Jeremiah. And remember, there's only 1 spot for each agency that Jeremiah has visited. There are other special need young adults also being interviewed. So it's pretty much like a job interview, ladies and gentlemen. When you go into this place, you're also other special needs young adults are also being interviewed. I'm not trying to be insensitive because I know that there are others who are severely autistic, but at the same time, I feel like my son is rotting away at the hospital. It's totally unfair that he has to wait there for 4 months. And the bad thing is, if I take him and pull him out just so he can be with us for Christmas, all of this is going to be for a waste of time. So now more than ever, he needs to stay where he's at, because then this will all be for no good reason. This will have been worth nothing for him to have stayed there for almost 4 months. So what I've done is, he has a lawyer. She's amazing. And since the Board of Ed will not approve him being in a residential living facility, we've looked into 2 places up in upstate. Now, with the residential living facility, what happens is the Board of Ed will have to kick in and they have to pay for his education, because now Jeremiah will be coming out of the Bronx somewhere upstate. That means he's attending school at the residential living facility grounds. So the Board of Ed would have to pay. It's not just his insurance. Jeremiah and a lot of the special needs adults have straight up Medicaid, which I suggest you get. If you're a parent of a special needs child, get straight Medicaid. Don't get Metro Plus with it. Don't get another health plan attached to it, because once your kid gets a medical case coordinator, which every special needs child needs to have, they're going to tell you, keep him on straight Medicaid. I'm talking to the low income families here. So what was I saying? Lord Jesus, help me. So the residential living facilities, the Board of Education has to kick in and pay for, which will be probably $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. So you can imagine why they're fighting that. But it's still not fair because in essence, what they are saying is, for in my example, Jeremiah never really posed a problem at school. So being that he never really posed a problem at school, they're saying we don't need to pay for his education because while he was here in a public school setting, District 75 public school setting here in the Bronx, he was fine. So let his family deal with it. His family has the problem in their house. Let them deal with it. We're washing our hands. We're not getting involved. Basically, that's what they're saying. So I've got a lawyer now. I have a hearing coming up January 12th, arguing that the Board of Ed needs to do their part and that he needs to have residential living facilities because of how it has been here at home. Residential living facilities versus group homes. At this point, I will respond to whoever will willingly give my son a chance to live where he needs to be. Whoever will call or let the social worker know, Jeremiah's a good match for our program. We want him to come and live here at the living facility. Group homes is where we're at right now, as far as where Jeremiah has visited. He has not visited not one residential living facility, which is upstate, but the group home setting is here in the Bronx, where there are between 4 and 5 special need adults living, in a private house with staff that are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If the Board of Ed says, you know what, this mother's taking us to court, let's pay for his, residential living facility. Let's help her out. If they do that, he's out of here. If one of the group homes, calls, he's out of here also. Because I visited a lot of the places and I do like the places. The good thing about a group home is that he will be close by to us. He will be here in the Bronx. Plus, he will go back to his old school. So I'm looking, and Jeremiah has expressed and he has voiced to me that he would love to go back to his old school. I have really made him aware of everything we've been trying to do for him, and he's very aware of what's going on. But he says he would like and would rather live here in the Bronx so that he can go back to school. He's really looking forward to his prom when he ages out at 21 years old. However, we're also looking into the residential placement upstate because I believe those programs are much more focused, much more specialized. You have the Anderson Center upstate, you have the Devereaux Center upstate, all professional living facilities. Myself have visited Devereaux with my husband, and we've really liked what we saw. Very nice facility, beautiful place, very urbanish, and Jeremiah's really into nature. He's really into, the woodsy type of areas. We've noticed that calms him down a lot. But at this point, that's where we're at. Board of Ed needs to kick in and help with residential placement for Jeremiah. And the group home setting, they won't have to pay. They won't, because Jeremiah will be then going into his old school. So it's a good thing that the Board of Ed won't have to get involved there, because the school bus will pick up Jeremiah where he lives and he'll go back to his old school. That's where we're at right now. And that's what I'm fighting for. Continue to advocate for your children. Continue to be that powerful voice of advocacy for your kids, because no one's going to fight for your kids like you. And the Lord has given you wisdom. He's given you knowledge to fight for your children. Okay? So, I want to leave you with that. God bless you guys, and we'll talk soon.